Have you ever walked into a new place and just had that feeling in your gut, that question, do I belong here? Well, for college students, that feeling can be the difference between success and failure. Today, we're going to dig into a huge new study that asks a really important question. Who gets to feel like they truly belong on campus? And what can we actually do to make sure that everyone does?
Right? There it is. That's the question. It kind of echoes in the back of your mind, doesn't it? The first day of a new class, starting a new job, that feeling, or, the lack of that feeling, can shape everything that happens next.
And look, this isn't just some vague, fleeting emotion. Researchers have a name for it, social belonging. And what they found is that it's basically the foundation of a successful college experience. It goes way deeper than just having friends. It's that fundamental gut-level sense that you fit, and that's what frees you up to engage, to learn, and ultimately to thrive.
But here's the kicker. Here's the problem this research really brought to light. That opportunity to feel like you belong, it is not the same for everybody. And that means this isn't just an individual feeling. It's a systemic problem.
So to really get to the bottom of this, researchers put together this just massive effort. That number you're looking at? Over 15,000 students. And this wasn't just at one or two places. This was across 22 different colleges and universities. So yeah, this was one of the biggest, most comprehensive studies on this topic ever.
So what happened when they crunched all that data? Well, the conclusion was just inescapable. This feeling of belonging isn't just something a student either has or doesn't. The actual opportunity to develop that feeling, it's handed out unequally. The playing field, it turns out, is not level at all. And this chart, wow, it shows you just how unequal it is. So take a look. For many student groups, about 3/4 of them, 75%, say, yeah, I have enough opportunities to feel like I belong. But then look at the second bar. For Black, Asian, and first-generation students, that number just drops off a cliff down to 50%, only 1 in 2. A 25-point gap, that's not a small crack in the system, that's a chasm.
A gap that huge? Well, it demands a real solution. And honestly, that's what makes this research so powerful. It doesn't just point fingers at the problem. It actually gives us a blueprint for how to start fixing it.
The researchers were able to pinpoint 4 specific things that colleges have direct control over. They have this term for them, belonging affordances. It's a bit academic, I know, but just think of them as pathways or built-in features of the environment that give every student a real shot at feeling like they truly belong.
So here they are, the 4 pillars: representation, culture, relationships, and learning. And they all work together to create this whole ecosystem of belonging. Let's start with the first one, which is probably the most visible.
Okay, factor 1, representation. It's such a simple idea, but it is so incredibly powerful. When students can look around and see other students, professors, and even leaders who share their background, it sends this clear, unspoken message. People like me belong here, and people like me can succeed here.
All right, factor 2 is all about the culture. Specifically, it's about the messages students get about intelligence and ability. Is the institution kind of sending signals that talent is just a thing you're born with? That's what we call a fixed mindset. Or is it promoting a growth mindset, the idea that struggling is a normal part of getting smarter, and that effort is how you succeed? It's that second message that really builds a culture of belonging.
Third, and this is so important, belonging is not magic. It doesn't just happen by accident. It has to be designed, it has to be engineered. This means colleges have to proactively build the structures for strong relationships to form. We're not talking about just, throwing a pizza party and hoping for the best. We're talking about real, intentional things, like faculty mentorship programs and designing group projects so that students build real connections.
And that brings us to the 4th factor, which is all about how we frame the challenge of learning itself. This quote from the study just nails it. It's about helping students understand that worrying about whether you belong is normal and that it gets better over time. This totally reframes adversity. A tough problem set is no longer a sign that you don't belong, it's just a normal part of the journey.
So, when you put all 4 of these things together, the representation, the culture, the relationships, and the way we frame learning, it leads to this really powerful and fundamental shift in how we think about what it takes for a student to be successful.
For so long, the old way of thinking put all the weight, all the burden, right on the students' shoulders. We basically told them, hey, you need to be a more resilient seed, you need to be tougher, have more grit. It's up to you to figure out how to survive in whatever environment we give you.
But this research, it just
flips that whole idea on its head. It says the primary responsibility, it actually lies with the institution. It's the college's job to be the fertile soil, to create an environment so rich with these opportunities for belonging that any student, every student, can put down roots and just grow.
And in the end, it really all boils down to this simple, undeniable truth. You can have the most brilliant, promising student in the world, a good seed, but if you plant them in bad soil, they just can't thrive. It's the environment, the context, that unlocks all that potential.
And that leaves all of us with one final and I think really critical question. And it's not just a question for college presidents or administrators. It's for professors, for staff, for other students. The question for all of us is this: what can I do right now to help improve the soil right where I stand?